Day, All Access Day, Day of Friendship, Emotions.
And All Access.
And All Access-ing the friendship and emotions. Got to be honest.
We have All Access today, right?
Watched Dune 2 last night. And typically, Blaine, you have a very good beat on whether or not I'm going to think a movie is funny or really good or whatever. I thought Dune 2 was a letdown.
It let you down.
Yeah, after the way you gassed it up. If we're going to be honest.
So was it still good?
Am I a little upset about it? I am, because
I don't know why you would feel let down.
Because I watched the movie.
Everybody else I've talked to loved it.
Everybody else loved it. I'm not saying it was bad, but you hyped this thing up like, I want that feeling after I watched The Dark Knight. Like that type of feeling with Heath Ledger and Christian Bale. I didn't get that. Everything happened exactly the way you thought it would happen. And it's not like he really even earned it. How do you get off the worm?
Spoiler alert.
No, they never show him getting off the worm. How do they ever get off of it?
Why are you caught up?
No. This pissed me off.
You're just gonna spoil the ending for
everyone. No, this isn't even the ending. Like, this is just a random thing that happens to prove that he's the Mu'al.
Well, if you want it to be The Dark Knight, it's not going to be that.
Well, how do they get off the giant worm? It never shows them getting off. How do you slow that thing down? Has it got brakes on it? Do you know? I need answers, dog.
Do I know?
I need stuff to make sense.
I think they communicate.
But again, physically, how do you get off the big worm?
Probably just walk off of it.
You just walk off while it's going, God knows, fast enough to go through a mountain of sand.
It probably stops and you get off of it.
I don't know, man.
I can't wait till the next movie you're excited about. I'm gonna watch it first, and I'm gonna tell you.
He didn't really give anything away.
I'm gonna ruin it.
I gave nothing away. Will he be the
spoiler alert? Get ready.
Is he gonna kill the fat bald guy that floats, and then bald Elvis? I don't know. We'll see.
A lot of that guy from Elvis is in a lot of stuff right now.
Well, him and the main character, Timothy
Chalamet.
Yeah,
Austin Butler. Yeah, he was.
I thought he did a good job.
I thought he did a good job too. I was waiting for him to show up, like, "Hey, Muad'Dib, gonna kick your ass right now, yeah." More Colorado players informed Deion Sanders they're ending the transfer portal. The Sixers and Bulls win in their respective play-in games, and the NBA has banned Jontay Porter for life following a gambling investigation, and he didn't have an interpreter. I'm Jay Crane, and welcome to the Thirsty Thursday edition of Crane & Company. Deion Sanders told his new team last year in an introductory meeting that he's bringing his Louis with him to Colorado, so you better not get comfortable with your spot. Well, fast forward to this spring, another batch of Colorado players, and some important ones, have announced that they are leaving Coach Prime. He may need to see if his check bag got lost at the airport, because this year's Colorado team is shaping up to look, well, a lot like last year's. In fact, their only offensive lineman who showed any promise that was returning just up and left for the transfer portal. So one of their biggest problems is still a big problem. I know they brought in some new guys, but most are unproven. But to be honest with you, Coach Prime faces an even bigger problem than all of that. The new shine is off. The new car smell has dissipated. And now the expectation is set, even after only winning 4 games last year, you heard that right. They aren't sneaking up on anybody this season. And for many teams that they will face again in 2024 that they played in 2023, it's become, well, personal. And to be quite frank, Colorado's in a pretty tough spot. You're no longer the cool kid at school, and you're now really the hunted after only winning those said 4 games. And after all the talk, now's the time to either put up or shut up. And as good as Shador and Shiloh and Travis Hunter are, the Buffs are still going to be bad up front. And that is a death sentence in this sport at every level. Now, as far as the Sanders players using their Instagram to get transfers to message them, that's fine. I really have no problem with it. It's the new era. And really, the only time a Sanders family has had more control over an entity this big was Colonel Sanders and KFC. But regardless of what you think about Coach Prime this year, they have to prove that they are closer to getting the bag. And at this point, looks like the bag may have really just gotten lost during the layover. Now I'm going to bring in my former,
Lost.
well, not my former Michigan. I wasn't the head coach at Michigan then, but former Michigan quarterback David Cohn.
I may have played more, though.
My co-host, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver Blaine Crane. And David, listen, I really don't have a problem with Prime. I think Prime does and acts in whatever's going to generate the most clicks and the most interest, whether it's hypocritical or not. But now all the focus isn't going to be on, hey, it's year one for Deion Sanders. You've got all this momentum. There's all these emotions. You know, there's really not wondering, hey, who's Colorado going to be? Can they handle themselves, this, that, or the other? To me, the shoe's kind of on the other foot a little bit this year. And, you know, you got to show progress or this thing could go downhill really fast.
And did you see yesterday that their running back, Alton McCaskill, is the latest?
Yeah, the one who transferred from Houston.
He was the AAC Player of the Year as a freshman, or AAC Freshman of the Year at Houston before he transferred into Colorado. So that's another loss at running back, even though I understand what you're talking about with Colorado up front. I keep having the same three thoughts over and over again when it comes to Deion Sanders in Colorado. The first is, I mean, anyone who's a historian of football understands he's one of the greatest defensive backs of all time. Maybe the greatest cover corner to ever play. That doesn't make you one of the greatest coaches of all time. It's a completely different craft. It's a new skill set. It's something Deion Sanders has to work for. I mean, he should embrace the grind to become one of the greatest coaches. And just because you have a couple sons right now who are really awesome and you've recruited some really good players in, like the job is not done. Just because Aflac puts you in the same commercials as Nick Saban doesn't make you Nick Saban. Now, it's fine for Deion Sanders to think he's going to be one of the greatest coaches of all time. That brings me to my second point. There's a big difference to me between confidence and arrogance, right? Like, I think I'm going to be the best and I'm going to win in any situation that I place myself into. That's different than having some sort of air of superiority that I do think Deion Sanders gives off oftentimes. And then the third aspect of this is, you know, this idea that any critique of Deion Sanders is somehow racially motivated, you know, and the weirdest part with all that is it really doesn't seem to have anything to do with skin color. I mean, if I make the same critiques of Tony Dungy that I would of Deion Sanders, no one would say anything, even though I wouldn't, because Tony Dungy goes about his business a different way. It seems to have less to do with skin color and more to do with culture, which is just a weirder thing. But all of that combined with the fact, like you said, Colorado clearly overperformed last year when they were the hunters and underperformed when they were the hunted. Well, based off all of the hype and really like some of those electrifying moments in those first four games, you're going to be the hunted every game this year, right? You should embrace that. I mean, that's what Georgia's going to be hunted every game. The Buckeyes are going to be hunted. Well, that's what happens.
Yeah, and the difference though, Blaine, and we want to know what you guys think. Obviously, in the chat, you know, I think about mindset. Right, and you're having to turn the page, and we bring up the hunter and the hunted, but on a even truer note, all the things that got said last year by Colorado, and I like having some ego about you. You have to have some ego about you to have success in this business, whether you're playing or you're coaching. But all the times that Colorado, whether it was against Nebraska at home, right, you know, whether it was Colorado State, you know, and you look at that schedule, it's kind of flipped as far as home and on the road. You've now made it personal with every team that is going to play you. That role that Colorado found themselves in last year as, hey, you know, we're the underdog, we've got nothing to lose, hey, let's go out there and play free and play loose and forget the haters and all this. Well, now you've taken that and it's flipped on its head. I'm telling you right now, North Dakota State is coming into Colorado to whip their ass. Like there's no, oh, it's personal with us in North Dakota State. North Dakota State is the hunter still, and they've been running stuff over in their league for a long time. You look at that, you look at having to go to Nebraska now, a more competent Nebraska. Maybe they can catch a snap this year against Colorado in important times. You look at Colorado State and what that game means now. But going forward, no longer when you look at Colorado or are these other teams, and you saw what Oregon did when they said, we're not going to overlook Colorado. They beat them to death. Beat them to death like they were playing against children, one of the easiest bets we had all year. But all those teams that were like, oh, it's Colorado, it's going to be Prime's first year, we're not really worried about them. Now they want to destroy them the way that Dan Lanning wanted to put Colorado back in their place last year. This is going to be the hardest coaching job that Deion Sanders has ever had.
I agree, but that's what Deion does. That's the Deion effect. I mean, after his first year, beat his win total in his first year, and a lot of people didn't think he was going to do that. The second year is up to 5.5. And I think if you look at their schedule, they can get it done. Now, I do think Up front last year, they're the worst team in Power 5 when it came to sacks. It's not getting much better. You're going to start a true freshman tackle. You already had 3 offensive linemen leave. So you're going to be weak there. You're going to be weak up front on the other side of the ball, too.
So you're cooked, like you're done.
I do, but I do think I don't know how it can be worse than last year.
What do you mean?
Front on the offensive line. You're the worst team in Power 5, gave up the most sacks.
No, I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be better than last year. The only thing is I think Nebraska's going to catch a snap. I don't think they're going to pull one out of their ass against Colorado State late.
Well,
and I'm telling
you got to think they lost. I mean, they're up 24-0 at halftime at Stanford. There's plenty of games that Colorado left out there too.
Well, I really don't. I mean, outside of Stanford, I don't think there's a ton that Colorado really left out there. I think they got lucky to win 4, to be honest with you. And now there's no sneaking around. There's no surprise, Shadur Sanders is good that tapes out on you. And listen, I hope Colorado does well. I'm not rooting against Deion Sanders. I don't have some instinct to dislike Deion Sanders. I'm just calling it how I see it. I think they pissed a lot of people off. And you talk about, year 2 at the HBCU. I guarantee you there wasn't a talent gap deficit up front in that league as opposed to what he's facing in this league. Because guess who's coming on over, buddy? It's not. This isn't just the Pac-12 anymore, and I know they had their best year last year, but you got Utah coming from the Pac-12 over, right, to the Big 12. I'm telling you, man, I got a bad feeling about this year for Colorado.
I mean, if you just look right now, you lost by 7 against USC.
Okay, but that was a huge comeback in the second half, too.
Okay, I mean, regardless of how you put it, you lost by 3 against Arizona. You lost by 5 against Oregon State. Colorado left some games after that they could have won last year.
They won some games that they could have lost.
That's true too. The Colorado State
game. That equals out.
No, I agree. Well, he said they got lucky in 4 games. Well, hell, I can look at a lot of here and they got lucky. You think the other team got lucky that they didn't win? Hell, you lost to a number 8 ranked USC. You lost to a number 21 ranked Arizona.
That USC game, you're making it sound a lot closer than what it was. They were getting their ass beat to death and they scored really, really late to make that a 1-score game. They couldn't stop USC if you gave them 13 guys on defense. The other one, Stanford, I'll give you. Oregon State, I'll give you that one. But again, when you look at where did Colorado get better, right? Where they had to get better, and what advantage do they have strategically or schematically going into this year that they didn't have last year? I don't see any. Well, I think the schedule's tougher.
The biggest thing when we start to just look at the exodus from the transfer portal is, first of all, we haven't even seen a football team. Now, basketball is a little bit different, but we haven't seen a football team rely solely on the transfer portal and win a national championship, which has made what Lane Kiffin and Deion Sanders have done so extraordinary. Like, hey, are these guys going to be able to put together rosters from the transfer portal and compete at a championship level? And we thought, hey, if anybody can do it, it's Deion Sanders. Everyone in the country wants to come play for him. Why is there an exodus of players right now? That's my question. I mean, some of these guys who are leaving, the corner who left was the number 1 ranked corner in the 23 class.
Yeah.
This running back was the freshman of the year for Houston before he transferred into Colorado. The offensive linemen that you've talked about where they had to get better have now left Colorado. Is the reasoning because Deion Sanders is running a tighter ship and some of the players thought they could just come there and coast? Because maybe it's a culture thing and Deion Sanders is trying to get it on the right track. Or is there something else? Is the NIL money not there? I don't know.
Well, to me, my gut tells me, and he's got to be there longer for me to be able to confirm this. I wonder how much is talked about and how much is promised. And we've heard stories about the relationship between the head coach and every player, not just the Travis Hunters, right? Or the guys that give him the best chance to win. I'm wondering how much of that talk is actually genuine. I wonder how much of that love that is shown is actually really goes on behind closed doors. Because again, I'm not there, and I don't want to throw accusations around if I'm not there or haven't seen it directly from the source. But I don't know. Part of me thinks it may be a little fake. That's what I think. I think part of it. There's a reason that Shiloh put "This is not last chance you" on that Instagram post. Like you don't just put that. Like that to me is. Maybe they tried it a certain way and they're having trouble building culture the right way with just bringing in all these different people that, just bringing in the talent and seeing if you can fit the pieces together, like not worrying about how people are going to get along and things like that. I don't know. Just something. The mix ain't.
What was his basic? What was he meaning when he said that this isn't last chance you?
Like, to me, it's like we don't we don't want you to think like this is some place that you can just come, that we have to have you more than you have to have us, or that we're some sort of lifeline to save your career. Yeah, we brought it up right here. Look at the bottom. This is not last chance you. Who has to say that? People who feel like people view them as last chance you. Like that it's just a circus. That it's crazy and there's no organization. And I think when you have this much turnover, that's something that maybe a little bit of an Achilles heel, I think, with Colorado. The fact that you put that in there, you felt like you had to put that in there. Like, what other school would put that in there? Like, name one. Even Ole Miss uses the transfer portal a lot, right? You'd never see that. And hell, last chance you was in the state of Mississippi. So, like, I don't know. That was somewhat telling to me. Like, what do they call it? Like subliminal or subconscious? that was kind of telling to me. But we want to know what you guys think about Colorado. Y'all know what we think when it comes to the best meat delivery service in the world, and that is Good Ranchers. All right, whether it's chicken, whether it's pork, whether it's seafood, whether it's ham, whether it's anything, they've got everything. You've got, I'm telling you, the wild-caught seafood is the most underrated thing they have, and they'll help you lock in your price until 2026. Believe me, how you get your meat and what you did with your home, whether you locked in that price or not, that's a big deal to you. You know exactly what I'm saying with interest rates. And right now, when you go to goodranchers.com and you use promo code BOOSTER, that's BOOSTER, you'll get their exclusive price shield and an additional 10% off your order. Now, this offer ends at the end of the month, so y'all better get going, get it in gear. And if you want to secure the best price on meat until 2026, go to goodranchers.com, use our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER. That's goodranchers.com with promo code BOOSTER. I'm telling you guys, had some last night.
I did
Reed
too.
made steak last night.
You had steak?
Unbelievable.
We had balsamic chicken with the chicken last night, cooked to perfection. Darby Lou crushed it. It makes me feel better as a parent when I feed my children high-quality ingredients.
No, without a doubt. And it's not shipped over here on some boat from Slovenia.
So if you've been on the fence about, like, I need to try Good Ranchers, but it's just so easy to go down to Publix, order a box right now.
Yeah, and you'll never get your meat anywhere else. And it's a great price.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to end up saving money. And I'm telling you, the Good Ranchers guys, we've met them. I mean, they're as Heartland America, homegrown American, as red-blooded American as you're going to find. Excited to hang out with those guys again soon. But we're excited to hang out with you, Booster Club.
America. All right, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you donate and it's on topic, it will get read. Unless you're Charles Dowsett, then it'll get read at the end of the show.
Sorry,
we're going to start off with Chance. He says, trying to build a program in a few years to compete is like making a 5-course meal in the microwave. Just leaves a bad taste in your mouth at the end. Got to give this man time.
Yeah, look, nobody's saying that you can flip it overnight, even though
he said it.
Yeah,
he hold on. He said it. He didn't ask for time.
Yeah,
they had Louis Luggage right this second. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, like you'll never be us. Like all that stuff. That's actually a great point, David. And look, in reality, I've always said it typically takes 3 cycles, right? Even with the transfer portal. Now, it takes 3 cycles of not just signing high school players, but now with the transfer portal to be able to build your culture and get your personnel in to run what you want to run. The problem with Colorado is I'm not seeing that personnel turnover in the year 2 up front. That's the main problem that you had. It supersedes any other problem. And I know they signed Jordan Seaton, but he's a freshman, he's a young guy. They brought in some other guys that are unproven, but Savion Washington leaving is a huge deal. I mean, he was their guy that bringing back that you're like, hey, we feel better about this guy. I know it was ugly everywhere else, but we believe in this cat. I'm not seeing the progression that I feel like I was going to be seeing with Deion Sanders. But you never know. That's why they play the game.
Keep in mind, he's never going to be more invested than when he has both of his sons starting on either side of the ball.
Very true.
That's awesome. That's an awesome thing for for a coach to be able to say, a father to be able to say.
And they're good.
He doesn't have 30 other children running around he's going to be able to recruit that are going to be a top quarterback like Shedeur Sanders is. What's going to happen when Shedeur does leave for the NFL?
We'll see.
All right, let's go to T. Myers. He wants to know, looking at Colorado's schedule, how many wins you see on the year?
You said the over-under is 5.5?
The over-under is 5.5 wins. I got it right here. Week 1, you got North Dakota State.
I'll give them North Dakota State, but I'm not saying I'm picking.
I wonder if that spreads out.
I'm not saying I'm picking that game yet, but let's just say for S's and gigs.
Week 2, you're on the road at Nebraska.
Loss.
Colorado State on the road.
Loss.
Baylor at home.
Win.
At UCF.
Loss.
Kansas State at home.
Loss.
At Arizona.
Loss.
Cincinnati at home.
Win.
At Texas Tech.
Loss.
Utah at home.
Loss.
Kansas on the road.
Loss.
Oklahoma State at home.
I'll give you a win. 4.
Right now?
Ceiling, David. 4 wins. The ceiling is 4. I gave you North Dakota State.
Right now, North Dakota State is getting 7.5 points.
They're plus 7.5?
Yep.
Why would I not jump all over that? I need to look into North Dakota State and what they bring back, but I can guess. Huge up front, pissed up front, some just tough-ass dude at quarterback that kind of throws it good, runs really hard, is a good leader. That's them. Tell me that's going to be them.
All right, let's go to Jordan Estrada. What's up, Jordan? He says, does it feel like Lane is the only one really out here killing it in the transfer portal? Year in, year out, he's recruiting high school talent in the bottom half of the league, but makes up for it in the portal.
Kirby, too,
but I think Lane realizes, and I'm not trying to take a shot at Ole Miss, but you're not going to be able to recruit at Ole Miss like you are at Georgia, and he understands that. I think if you're looking at somebody who is as close as you can, what they say, Icarus, like Lane's like Icarus. He's flying, but before Icarus got melted. I got to go back and read that story. But he's flying close to the sun, right? He's built his wings at Ole Miss. Here we go. We're flying. Preseason, have a chance to win the whole thing. Flying close to the sun with the transfer portal. Hasn't got burned yet. Will it burn him eventually? I don't know. You know what they say? If you're in the air long enough, I'm going to call you a bird.
True. And Ryan Day as well. Ryan Day came and got 2 of the best SEC players in the country.
But doesn't it feel like Ryan Day like pulled the, the red button on Men in Black where he's like, don't hit the red button unless you have to hit the red button. Ryan Day hit the red button.
There's a difference in hitting nitrous and then pulling a parachute before you land and die.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, what he did was two seasons ago, he said, look, it's going to take us like $13 million to keep this roster intact.
$13 million.
And then they hit like $15 million.
Yeah.
You want to know if the Buckeyes care? If
sure.
People in Ohio care?
For sure. But Ole Miss, I think if we're saying like who is the closest to 50-50 that it's working for, it's Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss without a doubt. Now, in reality, would you like to get to the point where you're maybe 65 high school, 35 portal, right? We always talk about not building the ship out of the transfer portal, but plugging the holes in it. I think Ole Miss may have built the mass out of the transfer portal, but it's working.
All right, let's go to CW, hashtag, will Shed Sanders be the first QB off the board in 2025 after only winning 3 to 5 games?
I don't think he'll be the first QB, but I think he'll be one of the first 3 taken. Look, Shedur's nice.
He is good.
I was interested to see how his game translated. This has nothing to do with Shadur Sanders is what I'm saying. I like Shadur. I think Shedur's actually got that dog in him, to be honest with you. And when you're a prime son, I think you have that on the field. Shiloh's a good player too. I wonder how Shadur is in the locker room, but I haven't heard anything from any of the players that are like, oh, this guy, this egomaniac. Listen, some people gave him a lot of hell because he missed a couple meetings because he was in Milan for Fashion Week. But like, who gets to make that choice? Like that, it's easy for me to sit here and say, oh man, I'd have been at the team meeting.
Yeah, go to
talking
practice,
about rules.
Man.
But they didn't come to me like, Jake, would you like to come to the team meeting or would you like to go hang out in Milan during Fashion Week with like super good looking people and just eat like super good food and do rich people things? I don't know. I've never been presented with that opportunity. And I'm all about the team.
And you're all about being a French spy too.
And I don't need that. No, I really don't need that.
European spy.
Because when we go on vacation again this summer, I can't wait to see what y'all invent now.
First one out though, I mean, man, Carson Beck's.
Dude, Carson Beck's nice.
He's really good.
But Carson Beck's not the only one either.
No, Quinn Ewers.
Yeah.
I mean,
if Quinn can stay healthy.
Let's see if he can stay healthy this entire year. I'm interested to see what Jackson Dart could do at the next level.
Yeah, he's very intriguing to me.
He is.
I feel like they're going to give Jackson Dart the J.J. McCarthy treatment, but I think he's a little bit Golly, him and J.J. McCarthy like the same dude.
A little bit. I mean, but after we saw Matt Corral not even really get a shot.
That one shocked
in the NFL. That was surprising.
Well, he couldn't stay healthy either. He kept breaking his foot. Like, somebody get this guy some shoes.
All right, let's go to G. Hurd. He wants to know, Jake, what's your thoughts on Auburn's Javarius Johnson on a visit schedule for Michigan State?
Good player.
Seems only fair since we passed on a superstar QB on to Auburn last year. I hate you.
Yeah, no, look, Javarius is a good player. He'll be a good player in the slot. He's not a guy that's going to take the top off and outrun a lot of people, but he's going to be very useful in the seam. He's pretty good run after the catch. I just think he got out-recruited, his talent level. And look, he'd been at Auburn a while, but if you got him, he'd be a nice piece. It'd be a really nice piece in the chess set.
All right, let's go to Todd. W wants to know, do you think Deion Sanders is fake? The more I listen, the more I see, the more I feel like he is not real.
Well, it's hard for me to say he's fake because he played how he talked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this has just always been I think this is really Deion. I think when we're sitting here and when I'm saying the genuine part, I'm wondering how much is Deion really about other people, right, other than his kids and himself. But as far as the persona, the way that he carries himself, the arrogance that he talks with, I think that is truly 100% Deion. And let's not forget, I think that was one of the best tools that he had when he was in the NFL and Major League Baseball was that arrogance. His brand was built off of his personality that then mirrored his ability. So I don't think it's fake necessarily. I want to make sure I put that out there. I just wonder if Deion, like David brought up, is as invested in everybody else as he is about his brand and his son's brand. That's what I'm interested in. That's where the fakery could be afoot, in my opinion.
All right, let's go to the Dogman 1. He says, crapping on 65% of your team might have been a bad idea. Deion makes recruiting so much harder.
You better win.
Think.
Like, you better win, and it better go good. I said this since Deion got the job. And I said the same thing about Alabama fans and Kalen DeBoer. How are you going to react when it goes bad? We saw all the hype for Colorado when they started out the way they started out, right? And it was all, I love these guys. Like, we're not going to play him hurt because I love them. Like, I love them. And then all of a sudden they started losing, and it was like, well, you suck, and this is the problem. And Sean Lewis, it's your fault. We're going to demote the play caller because we can't block anybody or tackle anybody. Like, and then what did Sean Lewis do? He goes and gets the head job at San Diego State. Guess he must not have been that big of a dumbass, bud. Like, I don't know. There's just the way Deion handles himself. It's like that big dog that walks in the locker room, that phenom player. If you're going to be an ass, if you're going to be arrogant like that, you sure better come through when it matters, and you sure better win. That's just the way it's always going to be. There's a lot more grace for people that are humble, right? There's not as much grace for people that aren't. But let's get to some other news here, David.
All right, let's go to the NBA. 76ers locked up the 7 seed yesterday, 105-104 over the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler had 19, Tyler Hero had 25, but Joel Embiid had 23 and 15, and they ended up being too much.
Joel Embiid, man. And it wasn't just the scoring. I know 23 points isn't a ton for Joel. I thought his passing last night was just a masterclass. Not only that he had the assists, but when he had the assists, and you see what a total and complete player looks like. This is what he can do, Blaine, and we were having this discussion the other day, that Zach Edey cannot. This is why I do not think that Zach Edey is going to come into the league. I know he's 9'3", and to be able to dominate in the facets that a Joel Embiid can, that a Jokic can, that a Lopez can, that some of these other bigs who possess the ability to step out and hit the jump shot, to make those pinpoint passes on the reg, not just the passes out of a double team, but there were some passes last night Joel Embiid had. I don't think the Sixers necessarily played well. I think the Heat had a golden opportunity, especially with the way that they came out. But look, they've got a good club. Just can they do it at the end of the playoffs? I still don't believe so.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Jimmy Butler getting hurt in the first half doesn't help much.
No.
But I still think you kept it close. And, yeah, I know Zach Edey is not going to be Joel Embiid. I promise you that. Joel Embiid's bag is as deep as anybody in the leagues. Zach's going to have a long way to go. I still think Zach's just going to be a rim protector in the NBA. But if you're Philly, I mean, right now you have to feel good about a lot of things, especially you beat a Heat team that's scrappy and always finds a way late, and Eric Spoelstra coach team. So, look, right? If you're Joel Embiid, what do you have to lose? Not much. I mean, Maxey, Oubre, Harris, this isn't, in my opinion, the best roster for the 76ers. I don't think they'll go far, and I think they know that too. But look, this is a good win for them.
Well, the Heat are going to play the Bulls now after the Bulls got past the Hawks. Kobe White had 42. His first 40-point performance and the second most points scored in one of the play-in games after Jason Tatum had 50 a couple years ago.
Yeah, you could tell he was cooking. That him and Jimmy Butler matchup's going to be fun to watch. I'll watch the NBA playoffs. I will. We talk a lot of trash about the NBA, and it's well-deserved. But the playoffs are when you really see guys step up. I mean, just looking at some of these matchups that we're going to have, I mean, it is very, very intriguing. There's no games tonight. Obviously, you got the Bulls Heat tomorrow, as you mentioned, and then the Kings and the Pelicans, which, I know you saw Zion's out.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yep.
Hate to see it. Hate to see, especially the way that he's been playing, and he had, 41 the other day, something like that?
Can I ask y'all this, and we've all played. Like, we've had injuries. Like, you sign a max deal. You're the face of the city, right? You're finally coming through the way they thought you were going to come through. And you tweak something, and you get taken out the last 3.5 minutes, but you walk off on your own power. You're seen walking after the game without crutches or anything. Man, I just don't know, man. Like, the real ones, I don't think are going out of that game. The real ones aren't missing this game on Friday. Like, I understand, like, you don't want people to get hurt. Duh, we know that. You don't want to make a medium injury a major injury. But, dude, like, this is the playoffs, man. We're paying you all the money we possibly can pay you. Shit better be broke, dog. Like, you're gonna have to carry me out of that thing. Like Dave Chappelle pretending to be P. Diddy during that sketch. I just don't trust this cat, man. I don't trust him. I think he's a baby. I think he was a baby at Duke. I think he's got babied in the NBA. And he's got immense talent. Unbelievable talent. We see it on display. But 3.5 minutes, you're not taking yourself out of that game. There's no way. You're not missing this game on Friday.
Well, I mean, like, we don't know the extent of this guy's
injury. I watched.
We're not doctors on this set.
Well, I've seen enough injuries. I don't have to be Dr. Quinn, and I promise you, to watch your big ass walk out on your own power.
If it comes down to the Pelicans organization choosing whether to win this game and risk hurting Zion more in his career, they'll sit.
Risk hurting Zion more in his career. He's been hurt his whole career.
They've been saying that each time, and it made sense early on.
Like, dog, this isn't his rookie year.
But now you gave him the max. Like, at some point, when is it like, okay, actually, us making a deep run in the playoffs is worth the future? Like, the players are here to make deep runs in the playoffs.
You're not making a deep run in the playoffs.
Hell, look at the run they made without him.
I know they're not. I know they're not.
And I promise you talk to any Pelicans fan, like, what Zion has done this year, every worth cent of that max deal.
Oh, so it's just a regular season then. So it doesn't matter. I don't want to hear anything else.
Bro, he just got 40.
Anything else about postseason or this player's better than this player because he's more clutch when you're going to sit here and say, you know what? We'll give you a max contract. Just do good in the regular season. You don't have to do good during sweeps week. You don't have to do good when it matters the most. Just do good in the regular. He'd be a great player for the Braves.
He just dropped 40 points.
He'd be a great player for the Braves.
He just dropped 40.
And you took yourself out of the game with 3.5 minutes to go.
He got
hurt. And now
you're
not playing again. I don't think he's hurt that bad. He always gets hurt.
For clarification, it's a left hamstring strain.
Damn. They cut Rodney Lott's finger off in a game. Stop babying him. You've already given him all the money.
Imagine being a baby and dropping 40 on grown men.
Zion Williamson is getting paid to drop 40. He's a baby because he took himself out of the game. Has there ever been a great player that's also been a baby? Yeah. It happens all the time. So what, like now it just doesn't happen with Zion because he scored 40 points? I would rather have him gone on an 8-0 run and scored 12 points in that game, and the Pelicans would have won if I was a Pelicans fan, other than score 175 points and take himself out of the game with 5 minutes to go. If you're about it, be about it. This isn't a regular season job.
I love it.
Zion Williams.
It ain't a regular season job.
Bro, he dropped 40 points
and he got hurt. It ain't a regular season job.
Like the same guy who said he shouldn't sign the max deal.
I wouldn't have signed him for a max deal. I wouldn't have signed him for a max deal.
Plays the most minutes out of anybody on the team.
Except when it matters. Except when it matters.
Gets hurt.
Except when it matters.
Rag him.
And keep babying
That's
him.
about right.
Keep babying him.
That's about right.
Keep babying him.
Let me ask you about another superstar on a team who's very talented, but also has underperformed when it comes to the postseason. Trae Young and the Hawks. What are they ever going to do?
Man, that Luka trade.
The Mavs are fine.
Every time the Hawks
Mavs are fine with it.
Every time the Hawks get put out or something happens. Look, Trae scored what, 22? Last night was 4 for 12 from 3, something like that.
And Tennessee.
Look, I like Trae. I think we've, seen Trae's ceiling. I think a lot of it is the periphery stuff around him with the Hawks, and you see some of the moves that they've made. But, they tried to fight, and come back a little bit there in the second half. But I just don't think the Hawks are good enough around him, and I don't think he is that level, right, to be able to just dominate consistently. Even though we've seen Trae have games where he's shot the lights out, just absolutely shot him out. But I just don't think the Hawks were good enough. I just don't.
Are they ever going to be good enough?
Well, I mean, you have him, DeJounte Murray, and Clint Capella. I mean, that's...
How do you feel about Capella?
He's a rim protector. That's what he is.
Well, no, I like him. I like his athleticism. I look at Capella, and DeJounte's obviously had a nice turnaround when with what he was doing at the Spurs. He's really kind of become a household name. Just Capella to me is so hit or miss, man. Like I've watched games where Clint Capella has just dominated, like freakishly, like from a rebounding standpoint.
He had 22 and 17.
Yeah, like there's games where he just goes off, and then there's some games where it seems like he just. And I know you're not going to have it every game, but his potential to me, like I know rim protector that is what he is. But when he jumps and he does things, sometimes he just looks different to me. I just think he's just a freaky athlete, man. Just a freaky athlete.
All right, next one up here. Let's stay in the NBA because Jontay Porter has been banned for life from the NBA for gambling. Here's some of the details. The largest bet he placed, $22,000. Smallest bet was $15. Net winnings, $21,965. Sounds like he never bet on himself, but he did bet on games for the Raptors to lose. So he threw away an NBA career for $22,000.
So he made money betting?
His net winnings are $21,965.
Okay. So he's already better than Shohei's interpreter. I mean, at least when you bet money like illegally in the league, you didn't lose $40 million. Imagine getting banned and losing money. This is why when we were talking about the Charlie Baker thing, when he was trying to eliminate prop bets, deterrents. I think deterrents are always the best way, right? You're not going to stop people from trying to skirt the rules, right? You can take away prop bets, you can take away this, you can take away that. Hell, you can take away gambling in a state. They're still going to find a way to do it. Believe me. Trust me. I know. I think we all know up here. But when you have a deterrent that is so severe, I think that is the best way to minimize it, right? It's like they tried with the prohibition. Hey, nobody's just drinking alcohol anymore. We're just not going to do it. Well, what happened? Outside of NASCAR, bootlegging started. Now, you're allowed to drink if there's a certain age, but if you drink too much, there's a huge deterrent and you're going to get in trouble. You could possibly kill somebody. I think deterrents, I think we could end a lot of crime if the deterrents were strong enough. I really believe that. So I think this is the way, man. You get caught, it's against the league rules, right? You're banned for life. It's like insider trading. You get caught, you're out, dog. At least in sports betting, you don't go to jail unless you did something fraudulent.
There's nothing more important than protecting the integrity of the NBA competition for our fans, our teams, and everyone associated with our sports, which is why Jontay Porter's blatant violation of our game rules has been met with the most severe punishment. That was from NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. The real question is he going to join the WNBA? We get a real-life Juwanna Man situation.
No. We're not going to let him. All right? I know that. But two, if you were him, why wouldn't you?
I mean,
and you could bet on the WNBA and no one would find out.
Hey, you want to know?
Nobody would find out. Are we sure? Are we 100% sure that this guy didn't bet any of his own player props?
NBA launched an investigation into
there are a couple games he got hurt.
March after sports books noticed irregular betting on the over-under on the reserve center statistics in 2 Raptors games. In both games, Porter exited after playing only a few minutes.
See, but now, this is kind of like a weekend update. It's like Jontay Porter gets banned for life for betting on NBA games, which in turn now allows him to bet freely on NBA games.
Yeah, have at it. You blew your NBA career for $21,000.
I mean, I'll be honest. I didn't know who Jontay Porter was.
If there's any NBA,
for a living.
any NBA, any MLB, any PGA guys out there that want to bet on themselves,
yes,
props, please come to me.
Just let us know.
Please come to me first.
Jontay, we could have
won together.
Yeah. The investigation found that Porter revealed information about his own health to known sports bettors ahead of a March 20 game against the Kings.
Stupid.
Another bettor privy to the information placed an $80,000 same-game parlay bet that featured unders on Porter's statistics and will win $1.1 million. The league investigation revealed Porter placed at least 13 bets on NBA games using an associate's online betting account. The bets range from $15 to $22,000, like I said, totaling $54,000. The NBA said the total payout from those.
We're gonna have to start a racketeer.
Should we go straight into a bet online?
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay, so none of the bets involved.
I remember the promo code.
None of the bets involved any in which Porter played. 3 of the bets were parlays, including one that included a bet on the Raptors to lose. All 3 bets lost.
And this is Michael Porter Jr.'s brother. Thanks for the assist there, Trebo, in the control room. Here's what I'll say. Here's what we got to do. Maybe, if you're going to use the third party on a account from your device, you don't log into anything. Do you understand? You call them on the phone. All right, you either call them on the phone or you meet them at their house or your house, and you explain, hey, this is what I want to bet. I need you to bet it. I'm not going to log in and bet it. I'm not going to have an account in anything. You're going to wait till you get to your house. Then you're going to log into your account on your phone. All right, we're not going to be seen out in public. I'm not going to be hanging out with you. All right, this is a black market deal situation. I need you to make these bets. They would never catch me. They would never. You could be like Keyshawn Bouquet and have your account name.
I would do it like from the Mission Impossible movies. Right?
Ghost Protocol?
You send it, and then right after it's like, this will explode in 5 seconds. Boom, and then it explodes. Can never find it.
Did you guys see the report? It's slightly related, slightly unrelated. There was a report that said Bruno Mars had gambled over $600 million in Las Vegas at MGM properties over the last decade.
Bruno Mars?
Bruno Mars.
You mix that with the amount of probably spent on cocaine, that's a Billy.
Wow.
600 mil. Look, I still take.
How much did you
They said
win,
he might
though?
be washing dishes.
I watched
every time you say that, though, how much he win, though?
I watched a couple guys.
I heard they said the report say it was $50 million in debt at MGM, and MGM came out and was like, "This is not true. This is false."
He's like Colonel Parker.
But y'all won't let him leave.
Yeah, then you look up and he's singing.
Yeah, 24 karat.
Then I was your man. MGM, please give me 20,000.
He's basically Elvis. They're like, listen, you've got to do a lifetime's worth of shows to pay this back.
All right, couple more things here. First off, Greg Doyle. What's wrong with this guy?
Dude, what's going on?
What's wrong with Greg Doyle? Will this guy just go away already? Do we have the video by chance of him interviewing Caitlin Clark yesterday?
Yeah, play this.
Hi, Caitlin. Greg Doyle, Indy Star. Real quick, let me do this.
They did her heart sign.
I like that you're here. I like that you're here.
I do that at my family after every game, so.
Okay, well, let's start doing it to me and we'll be able to get along just fine. So, question is.
What is this guy doing, man? Like, he has to go away.
First off, very unprofessional. I just think about this happen like in between dudes. Can you imagine a press conference like some old school baseball coach? Like,
it's like, hey, James Harden.
Yeah, no, he's like, hey, James Harden.
I do that to my family after every show.
Yeah, I do that. Blaine does it to me after every show. I flicked him off, by the way, if you're on audio. No, listen, that was just weird. That was very cringy. But that makes me think you don't know how to talk to girls.
Oh, well, we should have already known that.
Are you married? Is Greg Doyle married with children? That was no riz. If you're going to do that, and you shouldn't, it's unprofessional. And I think she's got a boyfriend. If I'm Pat McCaffrey's son, the head coach at Iowa, like, hey, me and Greg Doyle, we're beefing now. Like, you, what made you think you can make a run at my chick? I got the fever. You don't. But this just makes me think you have no riz. And the fact that was so cringy, you can't come back you can't do women's press. There's some guys that shouldn't be women's coaches. You know, like there's always you wonder sometimes, like, man, you're really involved in this.
And just remember, that guy right there has a Heisman Trophy vote.
Yeah,
see,
that should get taken away.
Greg Doyle, because he's logically inconsistent, and I think that he's unprofessional, and this showcase that. But yeah, an embarrassment to Heisman Trophy voters.
Yeah, somebody no, you shouldn't be voting. I don't think you should be voting at all on anything. Elections,
stay
Heisman.
home, man.
Yeah, how did you get your wife to fall in love with you?
This is like the weird old guy at the high school volleyball game. Why are you here?
Why you have nobody?
You have a daughter here? Why are you here? You're here to watch? Get out. Get out, freak.
I just love volleyball.
Yeah,
I love it so much.
I love it so much.
Okay, well, the guys play at 3:00.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to be here for that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I got to get my prostate examined.
Again.
Next one up. Do we have the clip of Bruce Pearl? I think this is clip 11.
Bruce, he's still pissed at me.
It blows my mind that somehow there's a connection between the LGBTQ community and Palestinian suffering, or the Islamic cause, or Hamas. If you are gay and you are in certain parts of areas controlled by Hamas in Gaza, or the Palestinian Authority in certain communities in Judea or Samaria, you're going to be killed. That's not allowed. But yet somehow those groups can come together and it's okay to just hate Jews. That's our common denominator.
Yeah.
Bruce doesn't care, man.
Now look.
Wait, I should say he does care. He cares so much he doesn't care what people think.
Bruce, I obviously got a ton of respect for Bruce Pearl, and he's going to say what he thinks, but I mean, he's 100% correct.
He is right.
Like
he's right.
How did we get to this point? You know what it's like? This is like people in the LGBT, the alphabet boys. I can't remember all the letters and symbols. I can barely. I got to remember my own phone number and address and stuff. This would be like if an African American was like, "Hey, man, like I support the KKK in this endeavor."
Clayton Bigsby?
Like, no, it's Clayton Bigsby. Actually, David.
Clayton Bigsby?
David, you just nailed it.
I've seen it happen.
David, you just nailed it. It's Clayton Bigsby.
You think he can't write them books?
It's Clayton Bigsby. Get out of here. Show us your face. Yeah, show us your face. No, this is like,
show us your face.
Do you realize, like, if you're gay, this is how stupid some of these people are. And not stupid because they're gay or anything like that. I'm not saying that. They're stupid because they're stupid. All right? There's a reason that a bus full of the LG community, right, hasn't just showed up in Iran, to welcome. It's like that part on Independence Day. You remember when they're all on the roof of the building because the aliens are here and they're like, "We love you." Like, and all of a sudden the aliens just shoot the laser down and kill all of them. They hate you. They hate you because of who you love. Like the whole thing you say over here, they're like, "Don't discriminate us because of who we love. That's it. Just let us love who we want to love. We can be whatever." They hate that. They want to kill you because of that. All the things you say that some of us think that's not true, they really believe that. How did this happen? This is why Alex Stein's Gays for Palestine skit is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
I was on my grind.
This is hilarious.
Pimp on a blimp. Always eating shrimp.
Always eating shrimp.
I mean, it's just so self-explanatory. I can't believe we're talking about it.
Do you see Bruce's face answering that question? Like how bad that is. Like it just makes no sense.
Here's my question: Is Bruce still mad at you for you being mad that Auburn lost to Yale?
Yes.
Is he going to forgive you?
I don't think so.
Why? Bruce,
I don't think so.
Don't be mad.
Here's the thing about Auburn. Here's what you got to understand about Auburn. And the basketball program is different because the basketball program was built up from. I remember we were really good when Chris Porter was there, Cliff Ellis was there, and then we got in trouble. Obviously, it's Auburn. We did something wrong, and then we were good. And then we were bad for a long time. And then Bruce Pearl made us good, right? And he's raised the standard at Auburn. But here's how it works at Auburn. you can critique Auburn in certain areas. Like in basketball, like you're not allowed to critique Auburn. You're just not, because they were so bad before. And Auburn has a self-defense mechanism where, and listen, two things can be true at once. The family stuff at Auburn is real. That's 100% real. You can ask anybody that's been there that's really telling you the truth. Not that there aren't other family atmospheres. It is different at Auburn. But whenever Auburn loses at something, which has been a lot lately, if we're going to be honest, in major sports, right? Just look at what the baseball team's doing right now. Football's had 3 straight losing seasons. They always go back and, well, you know, at least like we love each other more than y'all love each other. And I just hate that because, yes, it's true. Auburn is about Auburn, not just Auburn football. But you still got to win. Like, you should still be able to critique teams. And nobody's saying that Auburn's awful or that any coach should be fired. But if you critique Auburn basketball or you say anything that goes against the family, then all of a sudden, that's like screaming Voldemort at Hogwarts. Like, that's what it is. Auburn's got to get over that. It's like, it's an insecurity thing, I think.
Well, we'll have you say something nice later about Bruce.
I love Bruce Pearl. I even texted Bruce Pearl and them. I was like, hey, you know, maybe I could have worded stuff a little bit better. I could always word something a little bit better, but I stand by what I say.
Yeah.
And I'm not, again, I like you, I respect you, I appreciate you, but that doesn't mean that I'm just going to carry water for, it's not my job. Auburn
can be true at once.
Yeah.
3 things.
Hamas doesn't like gays, and we need to beat Yale.
That should be, can we please, somebody meme that?
Hamas doesn't like gays.
Hamas
and Auburn has to beat Yale.
Auburn has to beat Yale. Those two things, and two things are unbelievably true.
Well, that's the title of the breakout.
That is the title of the breakout.
One last thing, though, real quick, because the underdog squad ride last night hit.
Squad ride!
Coyotes, last game in Arizona.
God, it sounded like
Cody Nason.
Yeah.
Big love to you, man.
Plus 170.
I saw a video that kind of got me a little bit of the Coyotes game.
Yeah.
All the players came up and hugged the equipment manager afterwards. He's been there for like 40 years.
Oh, God.
That's the type of stuff.
Wow.
That type of stuff.
It's like, look, we got to take
homecoming.
We got to take Four-Finger Bill with us.
That gets me.
Yeah.
The dude just looks like he invented hockey pads.
No teeth, and he doesn't even play.
Just happy because he's happy and sad at the same time.
Yeah. But I tell you what'll make you happy and not sad is when you feel comfortable and stylish. And you don't get that in a combo a lot. Sometimes, hey, man, it's a little bit too frou-frou, or hey, man, it's a little bit too cash, right? I want a business cash, not super cash. But you can have it both ways with Mack Weldon.
Tell me. Mack Weldon.
I'm telling you guys right now, like this, love all our sponsors from a clothing sponsor standpoint. These cats are up here because it's like perfect for me.
Yeah.
They make Thomas apparel with modern performance fabrics. You can get joggers, you can get polos. It's the fit. That's the thing. It's comfortable for me and it looks good, right? I can walk into the office wearing it and not feel like, hey, it's Hawaiian Shirt Friday. All right, that's not what I'm going with. They're different from other clothes that I've owned because they have everything. They're a 5-tool player, right? They're the Shohei Ohtani minus the betting scandal. And they have a full range of clothes that never go out of style, from their light as air underwear, yeah, that rhymes, to their anti-odor tees. That doesn't, but I can make it rhyme. Their Ace collection's on another level. And look, the crew neck sweatshirt, David, I know you love
it. I got four different items to start. Like I said, I got the joggers, which I can barely find pants that fit. So for you tall guys out there, these fit right off the rack. It was awesome. I got the tall size. I got the crew neck tee, the polo, and the boxers. Liked it so much, I went back and got 2 more T-shirts after.
Loving the crew.
Yeah.
Loving the crew. So get timeless looks with modern comfort from Mack Weldon, because it's the return of the Mac, all right? So go to MackWeldon.com and get 20% off your first order. 20%, David.
Wow.
Right? I didn't stutter. With promo code BOOSTER. Here's how you spell it. MackWeldon.com. Use promo code BOOSTER. That's MackWeldon.com. Use promo code BOOSTER. With Mack Weldon, you will be the Big Mac in a stylistic way. All right. I know we got to get to calls, David. I want to go to the Booster Club quickly.
All right, let's go to Michael from Texas. He says, look, most NBA players are babies compared to most other sports, especially hockey players. They're America's version, basically, of soccer players.
I agree. I agree with that. I would actually think some soccer players are tougher than NBA players. This is why I wish the NBA was like it used to be back in the day when, I don't know, everybody loved it because people were hammering each other and you could play physical. And it just, the rivalries were better because people were more pissed. I mean, it's it's turned into like flag football of basketball now.
Yeah.
I love watching some of these athletes. I can watch John Morant dunk from the free throw line. I'll watch Steph Curry hit it from the logo, and that's all great. But it's missing that. You know how like when you see couples, right? And they're the couple that always acts like so overtly over the top to each other. There's no way this is how y'all always are. Like this, like how much do y'all really love each other? Then there's that couple that loves each other, but when they argue, like it's intense. You know, and you're like, man, I know they're arguing, and it may be about something stupid. And maybe Jake shouldn't have said that, or maybe Jake should have kept the kitchen cabinets closed. But man, they love each other. And I'm not talking about anything physical. I'm talking about like, you know what I'm talking about. They're like, hey, they really love each other. This is an argument that means a lot to both of them. That's what the NBA used to be.
Close those
now
cabinets,
it's just like,
man.
oh, hey everybody, I brought some potato salad.
Is that what it's like now?
Yeah, that's what it's like.
There's a lot going on there. There's cabinets open.
I heard potato salad.
Potato salad.
I like a good mustard base.
NBA.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. All right, let's go to SP, Mr. Steve Parker, who amongst the Hall of Famer was mostly a no-show in the postseason, any sport.
Who there was a
amongst
Hall of
Famers
Phillip Rivers.
was mostly a no-show in the postseason, any sport?
Say Phillip Rivers was one.
Yeah.
And saying no-show is tough. I mean, I don't think you can call what Jim Kelly did in the playoffs a no-show. They just lost the Super Bowl every time they got there. Dan Marino had some pretty damn good playoff games. You know, I'm thinking baseball-wise, you know, it's a long list. I'm having trouble formulating a ton of them. Well, Mike Trout.
Does it make it worse if you don't even make the postseason?
If your team's that bad, though, like it. I think Mike Trout is one of the rare occasions where, like, dog, you did everything you could. Like, I don't think there was anything else Mike Trout could have possibly done to make the Angels better than what they were. That's just how bad of an organization around him it's been. I mean, look at his numbers. Yeah, he got hurt sometimes, but his numbers are insane. Like, if there was nobody else on the Pelicans that was any good, and Zion was the only reason that they had made the playoffs, because they made the playoffs without Zion, don't forget that, then I would have maybe a different argument. Or if he tore his ACL with 3.5 minutes to go, dog, you can't play. Or you broke your wrist, or you broke your nose, or something like that. Or you got hit in the nads really hard. Like, I understand taking some time. I feel like it always pops up in the biggest moments when it's going as good as it possibly can for Zion. He gets hurt or something happens or he trips on a beignet or something like that. It just always seems like that.
Apart from the year Charles Barkley took the Suns to the finals when they lost to Jordan, how was he in the postseason?
I don't think it was. I think he was okay. That's a little bit before my time. I'd have to really, really go into that to look to see. You know, I'm thinking of maybe
he was 62 and 61 in the playoffs.
I'm thinking of maybe some of the Jazz teams, like maybe Stockton 500 or some.
Yeah, the
but
Stockton
I feel like
teams. I mean,
runs.
they went to back-to-back finals. Like you're losing.
And then Craig Elog had the shot over him to lose that game when MJ hit it. So I mean, there's a list there. I just need to look at it.
All right, let's go to Kendrick Weary. What's up, Kendrick? Good seeing you in here. So what's the narrative if Zion tears his hamstring and now is out for extended time next year? This is coming from someone who works in sports medicine.
Yeah. If you're talking, I'm guessing you're saying, what if Zion goes back out there and tears his hamstring and it inhibits him next year? Obviously, if we're going to look at worst case scenario, and when you look at the grades of strains, which I know you know this, there's different levels to it. You have a whole off season, right, to get it back healthy. I know the NBA off season isn't a ton of time, and a torn hamstring is a big deal. But I would rather you do, if you're going to tear it, which I don't want you to tear it, I'd rather you tear it now than tear it halfway through the offseason or at the beginning of the year. I think we can all agree on that. But that would change the calculus a little bit. But I'm not looking at it from worst case scenario because I'm not sure it's to the point where, oh my God, he's going to tear it if he goes out there and walks around. I think maybe you try and give it a go and see if maybe it can't loosen up. Now, I will say I've been wrong before on injuries like we all have. I thought Brock Purdy shouldn't have gone back out there when he messed up his elbow, his UCL in that playoff game because he couldn't throw the ball. But I applaud him for wanting to go back out there and try and do it. I think those are two different situations, and I'm not saying I'm a doctor, but I would really like for Zion, if there was any possible way, to be able to go out there and play.
Let's go to Scott Beret. What's up, Scott? How many of today's players in the NBA would be able to handle the hit Kevin McHale put on Kurt Rambis in the finals back in the 80s?
Yeah, Kurt Rambis, I think is what he put.
Rambis.
I think they would get up and go to the referee and ask for an ejection, maybe an exile like Napoleon. Maybe, your family serves time in prison. I think it would be looked at. It would be looked at in such a different light. Just look at the Draymond Green stuff.
Yeah.
Every time Draymond Green does something that's 75% of what they used to do, and everybody just...
Well, Draymond Green just sucker punches people and kicks them in the nuts.
That's what they used to do. Like, that was the NBA.
That's the thing. Back in the day, they didn't sucker punch you. They'd look you in the face and then punch you.
And then kick you in the nuts. Yeah.
Not any sucker about it, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, David, you ready to get to calls?
All right, let's do it. Let's go to Levi in Iowa. Levi, what's up?
Love your jeans, man.
Hey, yeah, so I got called in the other day, and I probably would say there's about half of the story. So Marcus called in. He's been a Cowboys fan since he was like...
Oh, is this the brother?
Wait, is this the other half?
Is this the brother-in-law or the brother?
Yep. Brother-in-law.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right,
let's get to the bottom of this.
Is this
year.
judged? Where's Matt Walsh at?
Yeah.
The bottom of this year.
No. Okay. My eyes are also not brown. And okay, so yeah, Marcus has been like a Cowboys fan since he was in like third grade or so.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't come out with the bandwagon allegations right away. But the other day on their Marcus and Courtney adoption page, I saw Marcus wearing a Bears shirt that was posted on Instagram.
Really?
And yeah, so in my eyes, it's like being a part of a different religion, but then wearing a cross on your necklace and then saying, right? So here's the question. Is Marcus a bandwagon for wearing the shirt, which he says his wife got him at a thrift shop, choosing to wear the shirt on a night out?
Okay. Yeah. Here, and so let me, just a couple things here. A night out, they were out on the town, right? And he was wearing it in public where people could see.
Yep.
Where if I walked past him, I would look and say, that's probably a Bears fan.
Yep.
Okay, here's where I'm at. Here's where I'm at on it. And obviously, I want to know what you guys think. If it's a one-time offense, I can get an explanation, all right? And we can move past it. Maybe that's one strike. Okay, you're on probation. Right. I got my eye on you.
Yeah.
All right, I feel like you're stepping out a little bit. Where I think you draw the line is you wore that out. You wore that out all while knowing people will say, hey, look, that's a Bears fan. Who has the number 1 pick in the NFL draft? The Chicago Bears do. Now, what I would need is proof that this was bought at a thrift shop by his wife. And why is your wife, who knows you're a Cowboys fan, buying you Chicago Bears stuff? Doesn't really add up to me.
But the Bears aren't good right now. To be a bandwagon fan, the new team you jump to has to be really good right this second. So I think a better accusation about him from you would be you're just a bad Cowboys fan. Is that more fair?
Well, if the Bears didn't have the number 1 pick, I'd agree with you. But part of me thinks maybe
that means they were the worst team.
Man, I understand that, but
even though I know there was a trade from the Panthers.
I love Caleb Williams so much that if he goes to the Bears, they got the number 1 pick. Maybe now I'm a Bears guy. I don't know.
Is that what we're dealing with? Is he a Caleb Williams fan?
I'm trying to look at all angles, Judge.
How down bad are Cowboys fans right now that they're wearing Bears stuff?
See, now there's the question.
That's like being
that's
so
not
ugly.
like Cowboys fans. Usually you have to tell Cowboys fans to sit down and shut up. Right? It's like A&M fans. It's every year.
Yeah.
But this is weird for me. I don't see. I agree with Jake. A wife of somebody buying some merch from him.
My wife would never buy me an Alabama shirt.
And you wouldn't wear it out. Knowing you would take pictures. Because now in my head, there's a narrative you're trying to.
Does she have an agenda?
Up.
Does she have an agenda, Levi?
I don't think so. I think it was probably just a cheap shirt. So.
Well, I
don't know.
Levi,
I don't know.
The case is ongoing. Here's what I need. I need to know if he's seen in the Bears outfit again outside, or maybe in a picture on social media, or is he wearing other jerseys as well? Is this now become a problem?
How many mock drafts has he looked at?
Yeah, like at what point, are you becoming the page?
Also,
right?
we need some information between now and third grade. Has he ever wavered in his fandom prior to this?
No, his brother, which he said has been like absolutely terrible. He's probably had 10 teams. So that part was spot on, but he's actually been pretty,
okay.
So you say
he's got a good track record.
It's so weird you go after
good in the community.
The Bears, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, you're not a Chiefs fan right now?
No.
Like, if you called in and said he's wearing Chiefs gear, we got a whole different bag of marbles.
Yeah, it's like, why am I at your house now? Like that type of stuff. But
Thanks, Levi.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate it, man. All right.
Thank you.
Let's go to Jonah in Arkansas. Jonah, talk to us.
Well, before I get to my question, I just need to say, as a sports fan with a wife, no true sports fan spouse buys opposing apparel.
Yeah, for sure.
In any way.
You're right.
Sure. That's why it smells funny to me a little bit.
I mean, I'm not near the beach, but something smells fishy.
Anyway, I'm calling about...
That's the worst joke I've ever heard.
Y'all are laughing. Please continue. Sorry about that.
Y'all open up the show talking about my Colorado Buffaloes, and as Prime says, it's personal.
Oh, it's personal.
It's personal.
It's personal. Yeah, it's personal that y'all can't block anybody or get to the quarterback.
When's it going to be professional?
Yeah, when's it going to be? At what point does it ever stop? You're trying to knock my head off at full speed. It's been personal, bud.
Yeah. You got to fake it until you make it.
Yeah, but like honestly though, Jonah, you see what I'm saying though? Like, does it at least make sense what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Y'all make very valid points, especially David. You made the point of there's a difference between confidence and arrogance, and I think he walks that line quite a bit. But at the same time, the CU program was so down and out. We needed some sort of extreme to jumpstart it.
We led the show off talking about Colorado football. All right, in April, so it's already a win for Colorado.
True.
It's just it's tough, and like on both hands. Like one, like I get talking crap before every game, like that's fine. But afterwards, you can't play the victim, which they did a couple times. And sooner or later, like you can't keep walking the games talking shit and getting beat by 50. Like those things just don't correlate together. Yeah. So hopefully there's a little bit of a grown-up stage coming along with Prime and certain players on his team.
Well, I don't think Prime's changing. I think this is...
Yeah, and that's part of my question. Like the other week, there was this news article that he called out the entire team because of an email he got from a professor about some players being disrespectful in class. And so I've never coached at that level, but in y'all's opinion, do you think kind of calling out players like that would cause some dudes to leave?
Well, if calling out players over and if you watch that video, that email that teacher sent was pretty scathing.
Yeah.
Like, and there's a lot of momentum in Colorado right now. I'm sure a lot of those teachers don't want to rock the apple cart too much when it comes to the money that's being brought in through football. But if you quit because of that email that was read, then you don't need to be playing anyway. You're never going to make it in life in general, let alone on a college football team. But my question is, I wonder if Deion treats everybody the same. I don't know that for a fact. I've heard it both ways. And the rule with me always was I was never going to wake up and make up my mind how I was going to act that day. I was always going to act how I reacted to how the players were acting that day. Like, for example, I never woke up and was like, I'm going to yell today. Like, I'm going to be an ass today. Or I never woke up and was like, you know what? I'm going to let some things slide today. I'm going to be cooler today than I was yesterday. No, I'm going to give back what you're putting out. And I also lived by the code, and my father taught me this, when he was coaching, was that you can always start hard and get easier, but you can never start easy and get harder, right? That's a question I have, for Deion is that when you went in there, were you starting hard on some of the guys that you didn't think were better players and easier on the other ones, like Travis Hunter and this, that, and the other, or were you treating everybody uniform and the same? I think that may be why you're seeing a little bit of this exodus is that the players that are better get treated better. And that happens at a decent amount of places.
True.
All right? Tyrann Mathieu at LSU got like 13 different drug tests before they were like, God, we got to suspend you. Like other guys take one drug test and like, oh, you're out 6 games.
Yeah.
Fat-eyed Joe or whatever. But no, that's what I'm wondering if that's going on a little bit.
I mean, personally, it's hard not to think that he treats other people differently when he's very public about which child is his favorite.
That again,
I'm sure that carries over.
That's
prime's gonna prime.
Prime's gonna prime, and it's like I said, this experiment is either gonna work with flying colors, like pew, like man, still in the Aflac commercial 10 years later, or this thing is going to burn to the ground. There is no middle level thing here. It's either going to be really good or it's going to be really bad. That's what I think.
Three of the offensive line transfers are over 320 pounds. So that's our only hope at this point.
Yeah, losing Savion hurts though, man. Like it's depth though. Like that's the difference in football. It's not your starting 5 on the offensive line. You got to have 8, right? Because somebody's going down. Somebody's going down. Somebody's going to have to slide out to tackle. Somebody's going to have to be able to play center and somebody bump to guard. Like it's the depth, the battle of attrition. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And I know you know that, Jonah. But I'm rooting for you guys, man. I've got no ill will or malice toward Colorado at all. I think it's a fun thing to talk about.
Appreciate it, Jonah. Thank you, man.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right, let's go to Brian in Boston.
Boston.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on. I told you I would call for the NHL playoffs.
Yeah.
It is here.
Yes, sir.
Boston Bruins open up Saturday night against Toronto, and this is like Christmas morning for me.
We're gonna be talking about it tomorrow too. It's kind of all coming together. NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs. Too bad we still have 375 regular seasons games left in Major League Baseball, but the playoffs will be here for you now.
So I always think of the first round of the NHL playoffs like the Thursday, Friday of March Madness kind of. It's like, how sometimes with the tournament, those 2 days will be the best 2 days.
Yeah.
Even better than the Final Four, stuff that. So
it's like American Idol.
I feel like the first round.
Yeah, the best shows are the first 2 days when you never know what's going to show up, literally.
Oh, yeah. So now we're gonna go where we have like the Bruins Toronto game, Rangers Islanders. They'll be playing in the 7-8 o'clock window with like a back end game that you can watch late night, like Vancouver, like the Stars, like that type of stuff. So you can have games on every night, and they play every other night too. That's something I love about hockey over NBA is they're gonna play Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, what I mean? Just go like that. So it's
a buffet. It's a buffet. Let me ask you this, Brian. Who do you like to make the Stanley Cup Finals?
Unfortunately, I don't think my team's making it that far. I'd be happy with a round 1 win, but I think you're going to have to warm up the pipes because Carolina and the Gay Men's Choir might be going to the Cup again.
There we go.
Blaine, they're going to invite you back.
Jake and Voltar go together.
I could see Carolina.
I'm married to a woman, and we hang out and do stuff. So,
hey, I see right now, Brian, Boston's favored in game 1 against the Maple Leafs. They're minus 130.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So before you guys have to move on, I did tell you guys in the chat last week that I'd let you know about the game within the game to watch here for all your NHL playoffs. Now,
let's do it.
There's something that goes on with the home team. They get the last change, and it becomes that much more important in the playoffs. So the road team has to put their forwards line out, their defensemen out first. And then the home team gets to see who goes out on the ice and match up based on that. So that's where you're going to see like the Bruins, for example, they're going to want to put like their Charlie Coyle, Brad Marchand line out there against Austin Matthews to try to shut him down.
Well, that's that's like baseball being the home team. You get the last at bat.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's the same idea. So you got to think like every time there's like an offensive zone face-off for Toronto, if the Bruins are at home, they're going to want to go out there with their team that can shut down that offensive line, and they're going to get that. And then it flips when it goes, to the other team's building. And that stuff throughout a series, it takes on a huge magnitude. And the last piece of that is when the team ices the puck. So like your own zone, you ice the puck. You're not allowed to change your players afterwards. That was a great rule the NHL did. Probably like 10 years ago
because people were using it to make subs.
Yeah, they're tired.
Yeah,
you're exhausted. You used to be able to just ice the puck, get a whistle, and you'd be able to change your line. Now, if you ice it like that, you're stuck out there. So then again, if
I like
you have
that rule.
Change, the other team gets to put out fresh bodies, go out there, and now you're sitting there gassed after being stuck in your own zone. So those two things, I think, for someone, I know you guys got an audience down south and stuff. If you don't watch hockey all that much, that's a cool little aspect of the game to pay attention to when you get into the playoffs, and it takes on a huge meaning.
No, Brian, I like that, man.
That's what in the water cooler.
Coming. Brian, can me and you both just root against all teams from Canada in hockey right now?
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely.
I love it, Brian. Damn you, Kirk.
American.
Oh, Kirk's on the line.
No,
Kirk's on the line.
I think Kirk is a Maple Leafs fan, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
too, so
he said, and I think he said the Bruins suck.
Yeah,
like all their fans are the worst, especially Brian.
He hates. Well,
Bruins
you know what?
fans.
Said Sam Adams tastes like piss.
From one team, like the Bruins are an epic choke team usually, evidenced by what they did last year. But Toronto might be the chokier team of the two.
Yeah.
They should be. They should change their nickname to the Heimlichs.
Yeah,
man, that's awesome, Brian. Thank you for that call, man.
Truckers.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks.
See you, buddy.
White said their government lost.
All right, well let's hear the other half of this. Kirk in Canada. Kirk, how you feeling about the Maple Leafs?
Kirk, you got that merch yet?
Brian needs to get off my lawn.
Whoa, hi-oh.
Get off his Canadian lawn. You better pay that carbon tax.
Maple syrup.
They're like, excuse me, sir. You burped. That'll be $4.
Well, Brian makes a good point. The Toronto Maple Leafs, I'd love to see us get out of the first round, but that would be quite a feat against
y'all did it last year.
Kirk, it's just I want to hate you so bad as can't.
Why would that be quite a feat? You guys have the best offensive player in the game. It's time for the Maple Leafs to get to.
Y'all need a little bit of arrogance, Kirk.
Y'all should hire Brian.
Playing in Boston, I tell you what, man, they got
those people are different.
I don't know what it is, but here's what I know. The Toronto Maple Leafs played the Boston Bruins 4 times this year, lost all 4 games.
Good, you're due.
And the last time we beat the Bruins in the playoffs was 1953. So,
damn, that's right after the Revolutionary War.
Last time y'all beat them was what?
1953.
In the playoffs. Yeah.
What?
In the playoffs.
Yeah. Paul Revere was.
Yeah.
That's when Yogi Bear came out trans.
But this is a new year, right? Austin Matthews,
Go ahead.
man on a mission.
It is a new year.
Yogi Berra or Yogi Bear?
What happened with Austin Matthews, Kirk?
He didn't get to 70 goals, I saw. Stuck at 69.
Well, he got 69, but that's the most since Mario Lemieux in 1995, so we're not complaining.
Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna get mad at you.
I saw Kucherov. Kucherov became the 5th player with 100 assists just right after Connor McDavid did.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I was going to talk about. I think Kucherov probably locked up the Hart Trophy with that assist last night because he's leading the league in points. He's 50% of all Tampa goals. He's either assisted or scored. So I think Kucherov. Believe it or not, Austin Matthews scores 69. McDavid gets 100 assists, and neither one of them are going to win the Hart Trophy, I don't think.
Wow.
So that's pretty. It's been an amazing regular season of NHL this year.
Just the names of hockey just kill me.
I know.
You can go like, well, this is Vashan Kucherov with 100 assists. It's like, hey, this is Austin Matthews.
Yeah. It's like, hey, this is Jeff Smith, and also for the Bruins we have.
Yeah, those snowballs at people. That's dude. I'm ready and I'm excited. All right, for a little hockey playoff action.
Let's do it.
There's going to be 8 really good teams go out in the very first round. It's going to be awesome. Before I let you go, do you remember last year I called in just before the Stanley Cup final, and I did a little deep dig, and I said, hey, the team with the most Canadians in the East and the most Canadians on the West turned out to be the Vegas Golden Knights and the Florida Panthers.
Yep.
And I told you I'd call in at the beginning of the playoffs and give you the teams with the most Canadian players to see if it's going to repeat.
I love it.
Well,
it's Boston, isn't it?
I don't think it's going to happen again this year because the team in the West with the most is Edmonton, and I'm picking them to go to the Stanley Cup final. But the team in the East with the most Canadian players is the Toronto Maple Leafs.
No, give it to me. Give me the Leafs. They're making the Stanley Cup. They're making the Stanley Cup.
Edmonton.
What do you think, Dave?
You
think the Maple Leafs should make the Stanley Cup?
No.
You don't?
No.
Hey, Kirk, I'm riding with the Leafs.
David's out here looking out for you.
That literally, what did me and a Leaf have in common? We're both stuck to a tree.
You know what? I think I will take the Leafs.
Yeah, David, take them. Kirky, I got your message, brother. We'll get that handled.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Kurt. All right, let's move on. Very special caller here. We got Reed Crane on the line.
Hey, Reed.
Crane, what's going on?
Wait, why does...
Good morning.
Yeah.
What did he do, Reed?
Here we go.
What did he do?
Spill the beans.
What did I do? Hey.
Absolutely nothing.
Sound like Steve.
You're fine right now.
Okay.
I just have something to add to the bandwagon conversation.
Okay.
Good. Let's hear it.
Okay. So, I think about a year ago, me as a very loving, caring wife was at TJ Maxx, and Jake, I don't know if you remember this, but I found this nice shirt, like it's like a graphic tee, and it had a cool stadium dog thing on it. I don't remember what team it was for, and I brought it home
Dodgers.
to you, and you said, you're like, babe, this is so cool. Thanks for thinking of me, but this is kind of like our rival team, or maybe not your rival, but, you know, you're a Braves
Dodgers?
fan.
The Dodger dog shirt.
Oh.
So
Okay.
it's a cool shirt, right? But you were very appreciative, but have you worn that shirt?
No.
Even within the walls of our own home?
Nope. Haven't taken it out of the drawer.
Man.
But I do like it, and I love the thought. I'm a Braves fan. I'm not wearing Dodgers stuff out. Just like when I was a Cowboys fan,
my point.
I'm not wearing Bears stuff out. Thank you, honey, for calling in and reinforcing that fact.
You're
And
welcome.
it just shows
And
that
so just because a wife bought it doesn't mean you can't be appreciative, but also doesn't mean you need to wear it, much less wear it out where other people can see you.
That's true.
God knows if Jake buys me something that has anything Auburn on it, I'm not wearing it.
Yeah, no, that
I
just
love
turns
it
in.
that he thought of me,
Yeah.
but I'm not doing that.
I don't feel like wasting the money. Hey, how are the dogs this morning?
Manny was so sleepy, I had to carry him downstairs.
It's my French bulldog.
I don't know, Reed. I just don't know.
That's a great call.
What do you mean you don't know? What
I
do
just
you
don't know
not
if we can take this serious after old boy jumped the ship and went to the French.
Well, well, first, Reed, you better get him.
You know?
Reed, you better get him.
Fine now, Reed.
You
I
better
just
get
don't know
him.
if we can take this
Reed, you
Cowboys
better get him.
Bears thing serious from him.
I'll be proud to say that we're going back. So
Oh, we know y'all are. We know. You got to go
Reed,
back.
that's not going to help.
Did you send the
That's
blue
not-
dot?
Say something that's going to help.
I don't know. This call was brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue.
That's a good one. All right, be safe going to work. I love you.
Oh, that's great.
Talk to you in 10 minutes.
Appreciate it, Reed.
Okay, bye.
All right. Everybody else on the line, please call in tomorrow.
All right.
Say Pongo.
Pongo. I'm going to go to the bet
Pongo
board.
alert.
I'm going to the bet board. That was a blast from the past. I mean, well, not from the past, really from the present, because she's still married to me, thank God. Oh.
Leave you out like that, Dave?
No, I got him in late.
Here's what I got tonight. I'm going hockey, because it's how we're living our life. All right?
Okay.
Sharks, Flames, over 6 goals, -120. Come on. Puck, net, let's get out of here. Then Edmonton and the Avalanche, over 6.5, a little bit of a double over, right? And not because you have to throw up or you're feeling sick, but because we're trying to win bets. That second one's at -120. Actually, they're both at -120. David?
All right, double nerfy today. Giants, D-backs, no runs, first inning, -120. And then Red Sox, Cleveland, no runs, first inning, +105. Last time Boston crushed my nerfy in the first inning. Let's not do that today.
All right, little bet butt action. 2-0 yesterday. I'm also going D-backs, Giants, nerfy. That's -120.
Are you?
And then I'm going Angels, Rays, nerfy. That is
Man, I looked at that one, but that pitcher on the mound for the A's, he's got like a 9.8 ERA or something.
They want you to think.
David, what is your oldest offspring picking?
Well, he said he's going to take the Rays minus a run and a half at plus 136. We'll see. And then the Rangers money line minus 110.
Rangers been coming through lately.
Rangers money line minus 110.
I hit one yesterday. I hit 2 dog bets.
Good. I'm glad this marker.
Rangers taking on the Tigers today.
All right, let's get these donos.
All right, a couple donos there. We're going to start with 5.
Only a couple that don't even. I'm just kidding.
$5 donation from our resident Phillies fan, Ryan Yade. We know talked about bandwagon fans yesterday during calls. Should have had an intervention for Cone. Hashtag not a Ranger.
No, it doesn't count when it's a values-based change.
Oh.
There's values that I'm seeking out within the organization. And, just has nothing to do with the fact that they happen to be good that year and then won the World Series.
You did have a good reasoning. I will give you that. It's hard for me to forgive you.
Funny excuses. I'll talk to prisoners. All right, let's go to $5 donation from Colson Duggins. He says, Dune 2 is a cinematic masterpiece. Better than The Dark Knight. Anyone knows anything about the art of cinema knows this. Jake is so very wrong.
Now I have to watch.
Better than The Dark Knight? Now I think you know nothing about cinema.
But it's a good movie.
I'm not saying Dune is a bad movie, but it isn't The Dark Knight. I don't promise
know who said it was.
No, he said it's better than The Dark Knight. Colson Duggins literally just said that.
I just don't know why that comparison came up.
So it's shot better. Is that what he means? Or the whole story's better?
There are some cool shots. Probably him walking through the entire crowd by that was pretty sweet.
We all know
that guy directed the Blade Runner sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, look, Ben Shapiro loved it, so I feel like
I like it.
I'm in the right
movie.
Okay, well, Ben Shapiro supported my my Rangers fandom, so
there you go.
You get off me about it?
Probably not.
Okay.
Someone has to do it, Dave.
I respect it.
All right, last donation of the day, $2 donation from the Humping Badger. David, who's a bigger pervert, me or Greg Doyle?
Oh, that's a good one. Who's a bigger pervert?
I don't know. Greg Doyle's up there. He's made the list. All right, any other comments?
We have one more donation that I'm pulling up now. My computer just froze, but I'm an absolute dog, so I'm going to get right back in this. We have a $10 donation from Charles Dossett. I wanted to donate, but I took your advice and went to the Kings-Warriors game. What a waste of money. Basketball is the most boring sport I've ever watched, and I've watched horse dancing.
Dressage? I think that's what they call it. Look, they were the Warriors, only scored 94 points. If they would have showed up offensively, I think it would have been a better game. But I'm glad you went, Charles. At least you made a memory, right? I've never been to an NBA playoff game, play-in game, whatever you want to call it. I think it's a bad idea.
All right, poll. Will Colorado win 5.5 games or more? Yes or no?
I'm going to say they said no, 53%.
No, 54%.
No, 73%.
Smart audience.
27.
All right, we appreciate you guys. Got a great show for you tomorrow. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Remember, if you donate, we will read it. Really appreciate y'all. Keep sharing the word about the show. We're going to keep on trying to grow. Appreciate everybody calling in. And until tomorrow morning, enjoy your sports watching. And like the NHL regular season, we're going.
Wow. Got it down.
Gone.